Want to hear my cat purring? Hopefully you heard him. That's my cat Tiger, who is lying next to me. And yeah, you're not seeing the regular games on my phone like I normally have them when I do the NFL picks. This is week 3, and we're going to do this Grand Theft Auto 5 style. And I'm just going to read off the games on my phone and tell you as you enjoy the gameplay. So, week 2, what have we learned about the Buffalo Bills? They are looking good, at least defensively. Josh Allen didn't have the best game of his career, even though it was a shutout. But, yeah, he's definitely got some work to do. And it's, like I said, it's only week 2. So, we got a bunch of weeks to go. And then, of course, the bye week where... he can rest up and get back to his full potential. So the Bills shut out the Dolphins 35-0. Expected and unfortunate for Tua Tagovailoa. He got hurt and left the game and has fractured ribs and will not be playing this week against the Raiders. Jacoby Brissett will be the starter. So it sucks for Tua, but yeah, hopefully he can recover. So anyways, let's get on to who's playing who for week 3. The Buffalo Bills are back at home, and they will be playing the Washington football team. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is the supposed starter, which he has a hip injury and has been diagnosed to being out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, I think. And Taylor Heineke will be the starting quarterback for them, so that's going to be interesting to see how he performs in Buffalo. I wouldn't expect too much of them. If the Bills can play defensively how they played against Miami, then yeah, watch out. I don't think Washington's going to do too well. So I'm going to pick the Bills over Washington, obviously. Very well could be another high-scoring game for the Bills. So we will see about that. And then we got the Thursday night game tomorrow. We got the Carolina Panthers against the Houston Texans. Now Tyrod Taylor is hurt, and I'm upset about that because I want to see Tyrod Taylor play, and I want him to be healthy enough to play when they play the Bills next week. So, yeah, I hope Tyrod's good to go next week because he hasn't played the Bills since we traded him to Cleveland after the wild card game in 2017. So hopefully Tyrod gets healthy, but the Panthers are 2-0, and Sam Darnold's looking okay, a little bit better on the Panthers than he has with the Jets, I could say, at least for now. But I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers to defeat the Houston Texans, and they're going to go 3-0, surprisingly. So, yeah, we'll see how long that goes for the Panthers, their undefeated streak. The Baltimore Ravens will take on the Detroit Lions. Unfortunately for Detroit, they got to play Baltimore, and Baltimore just beat the Kansas City Chiefs in an amazing Sunday night game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled the football and cost them the game, and ultimately the Ravens won. So, yeah, that was something. And Jared Goff, unfortunately, didn't impress me the Monday night game against Green Bay. I picked them to be the upset team of the week, and unfortunately, he let me down. So the Lions lost to Green Bay, as we all know. So I'm going to pick the Ravens to take out the Lions. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Arizona got lucky against Minnesota. Minnesota should have won that game. So it's all because of their kicker. I think Greg Joseph was their kicker who missed it. So, yeah, unfortunately for that, Minnesota lost that game, and Arizona should be 1-1, but they're taking on Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's rebuilding. Trevor Lawrence isn't looking as good as expected, but again, he's just a rookie, so give him time, and we'll see what happens. So I'm picking Arizona. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. Titans came off a shocker. They defeated the Seattle Seahawks with a game-winning field goal, so that was, actually no, was it a game-winning field goal, or was it overtime? It was overtime, right? With a game-winning field goal? I'm not too sure, I forgot how that game ended. But either way, Tennessee ended up beating Seattle, so that was pretty cool. And Indianapolis went to 0-2. Carson Wentz is now hurt with, I believe, something with his ankles, and both of his ankles are hurt. So I don't know what's going on with Carson Wentz. But I'm going to pick the Titans over the Colts. Next up, we got the Saints and the Patriots. This is going to be an interesting game. The Obviously, the Saints lost to the Panthers week 2 after having an amazing performance against the Green Bay Packers. But then again, all the good teams, they don't look as good as they normally do week 1. We all know that. So that happened to the Packers, and the Saints ultimately took advantage of that and won that game in week 1. So I'm going to pick the Saints again over the Patriots, but yeah, if the Patriots end up beating the Saints, then I don't think the Saints are going to be looking too hot down the road. So, New Orleans, I have faith in you. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns. And finally, Justin Fields is going to be the starter for this game because of Andy Dalton's injury. So, can this be the game where Justin Fields proves that he deserves to be the remaining starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears for the rest of the season? I don't know. Coach Nagy said that once Andy Dalton's healthy, he's the guy. So we'll see. But if Justin Fields happens to pull a rabbit out of the hat and the Bears win this game and look pretty impressive, Andy Dalton's starting career might be in jeopardy. So I'm going to pick the Cleveland Browns in this case because, we haven't seen Justin Fields play against all the starters and his first career start yet. So until he wins a game and shows me what he can do, I'm going to have to pick the Cleveland Browns because they're looking hot again. Next up, we got the LA Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. As much as we all want to see the Chargers beat the Chiefs, I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs in this one. They're obviously going to want some payback after what happened with Baltimore. Next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons against the New York Giants. Atlanta's disappointed me, but they scored some good points against Tampa Bay. And I got some faith in the Falcons being one of those teams that can get a well-deserved win finally to start their season off good in the right way. So I'm going to pick the Falcons over the Giants. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh lost to the Raiders, who are looking really, really, really surprisingly good so far. So I'm going to pick the Steelers to defeat the Bengals, but don't sleep on Joey B. The Bengals will make it a tough one. They did beat them last year. I think it was a Monday night game without Joe Burrow. I think Ryan Finley was the quarterback for the Bengals, and they still beat Pittsburgh. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And Roethlisberger's supposed to be dealing with a shoulder injury. So again, we'll see how that affects him. Miami Dolphins against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think we all know how this is going to go. If it's any way like how they played against Buffalo, Miami doesn't have a chance. Vegas is going to kill the Dolphins. New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. Holy crap, Denver could actually start 3-0. So that's going to be pretty impressive. And I'm happy for Teddy Bridgewater. I'm glad he's finally finding some success because, I wish he stayed with Minnesota his whole career. And unfortunately, that knee injury is what cost him the spot with the Vikings. So unfortunately for Teddy, he's been on a couple different teams. So Denver seems to be the one that's working for him so far. So picking Denver over the Jets, and the struggle for Zach Wilson and them will continue. This is going to be the game right here. Tampa Bay versus the LA Rams. I'm going to pick the LA Rams. I really do think that they can do it. Matt Stafford's looking amazing. The Rams defense is looking amazing. I think they can do it. They just got to watch Brady and watch that Tampa D. It's pretty much a mirror image matchup between these two teams, but in the end, I still think the Rams will pull it out, and they're going to shock Tampa Bay in this one, and the Rams will go to 3-0. Tampa's 2-0 as well. Anyways, the next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to pick the Seattle Seahawks against the Vikings in this one, unfortunately. I don't know. Minnesota needs a new kicker, and Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. Nothing more really can be said about that. So I'm going to pick Seattle over Minnesota. Green Bay versus San Francisco. I think this is going to be San Francisco's first loss of the season. Green Bay looked really good against the Lions, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be fired up, and he's going to be in quote-unquote MVP mode now for a few games, unless something happens where a surprise loss pops in there. But they shouldn't lose to San Francisco. Green Bay should take this one easy. So picking the Packers over the 49ers. And then finally, our Monday night game is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys escaped with a Greg Zuerlein game-winning field goal. And the Eagles lost by 6 points to the San Francisco 49ers. I think 17-11 was the final score last week. So, sorry, I had to take out my anger. It should not say peaches on top. It should always be apples. I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys over the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. I mean, this is going to be my first game where I get to see how Jalen Hurts really looks, because I haven't seen any Eagles games yet. But we'll see what he can do. And that is my Week 3 NFL picks. Go Bills.